welcome to another edition of the Midday Brief. In our headlines, Supreme Court summons 3 persons believed to have made contemptuous comments against the court in the election petition hearing. Now, Ghana can no longer export fruits to some international markets, and we will speak to some officials concerned on the seriousness of the matter. PNC begins work today on retrieving 1.3 million Ghana cedis campaign funds. We will also bring you updates on some persons believed to have been poisoned after eating tilapia preserved with formalin. You stay with me, I'll bring you details of these stories and many more. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Right, it's day 37 of the election petition hearing at the Supreme Court. Now we are crossing over live to the Supreme Court for an update on the hearing.
To uphold the dignity of the judiciary, and we are not able to countenance any attempt to undermine that dignity. I'd like to add specifically in relation to anybody who might feel that they can use their party color to undermine the judiciary, that on our part, we are not able to accept, for instance, that any member of the NDC should utter words that undermine the dignity of the judiciary. We believe that it's important that we all respect the authority of the Supreme Court and of the judiciary, and we will not cover up for anybody, even within our party, that seeks to do anything that will run counter to this important national objective. So we are here firmly indicating our support for the judiciary taking steps to ensure that the authority of the state, the authority of the judiciary, is not undermined. And we certainly do not want anybody to think that being a member of our party gives them a license for anything like that.
Thank you very much. We'll now turn our attention to Mr. Philip Addison, who is the lead counsel for the petitioners.
The statement that has been made by my 2 senior colleagues are a joint statement we've all agreed on and which I also subscribe to. Again, the statement by Mr. Chiketa in relation to members of his party also applied to members of the NPP, and I subscribe to the views expressed by him. I have nothing more to say.
Thank you. Counsel for the first respondent, Mr. Konilita.
As was indicated by Mr. Addison, this is a joint statement, and I fully support the sentiments expressed by my senior colleagues. I have nothing more to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you heard the lead counsel for the petitioners, the first respondent, the second respondent, and then, of course, the third respondents.
Right, so that was live from the Supreme Court. And joining us by phone is Eric Curtis Howard. He was at the hearing today, and he's joining us with, well, unfortunately, the line Curtis was on has dropped, but you heard from the counsels in the case at the Supreme Court. But let's do some other stories. And when the former President John Evans Atta Mills turned the valves at the Jubilee oil fields to commence the production of oil in commercial quantities in 2010, the people in the 6 coastal districts in the region where the oil was discovered, namely Jomoro, Elembele, Nzima East, Ahanta West, Sekandi, Takrade and Shama, had high expectations of socio-economic development. Now, they were hopeful of securing jobs with oil companies, development in the form of construction of school blocks, health facilities, road networks, and electrification projects, among other social amenities, with the revenue from the oil. Unfortunately, this high expectation has given way to disappointment due to the negative consequences of oil exploration on the livelihood of the people. Now, stakeholders from these 6 oil districts in a workshop on oil and gas dialogue organized by the Friends of the Nation, a Takoradi-based non-governmental organization with focus on the environment, expressed their frustration about the negative impact of oil exploration. Now, they said that it has been drastic reduction in fish catch because fishermen, and they claim that the current fishing zone restrictions in the sea as a result of the floating production storage offload facility at the Jubilee oil field has led to a drastic reduction in fish catch for the local fishermen. The fishermen complain spending huge sums of money to buy premixed fuel in order to sail further up the shore, sometimes without a catch at all. Now on the phone is Solomon Kusi Ampofo, the oil and gas coordinator for Friends of the Nation, to explore the issue. Hello, Solomon. Hello, Solomon.
Hello, yes.
Right, and so we know the issues, but what exactly has your organization been doing, to alleviate people from this?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Friends of the Nation is a social environmental NGO which is focusing on advocacy in the oil and gas industry, and we have been organizing a lot of stakeholder forums to be able to discuss and find solutions to the critical issues under the oil and gas industry.
Right. Now, Solomon, you would bear with me that for the ordinary person who lives in these 6 districts that we have mentioned, a forum really is nothing to that person. What should that person understand that it's being done for him or her?
Please come again. I didn't get your.
What I'm saying is, for the ordinary person in Alembele or Jomoro or Shama, it's not concerned about the forum that you intend to hold. Now, for your organization, you intend to ease the plight of these people. What are the concrete things that you do so that the ordinary person from Shama would understand what you're saying?
Yes, we facilitate a lot of sensitization program trying to bring the stakeholders together to discuss the critical issues. We are all concerned about the social, environmental, and livelihood issues because these affect the people directly. So as part of our program, we call upon the stakeholders, especially the regulators, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, the Ghana Air Force, the Ghana Maritime Authority, to have a dialogue with these fisherfolk communities to be able to address the critical social environmental issues under the oil and gas industry.
And so, Solomon, how has it worked out so far? Your meetings with stakeholders, how has it changed the face of things in these districts?
Yeah, I believe so far we are making headway because right now the critical issues are at the doorstep of the regulators. Right now we have been able to expose all the issues. Some of the issues that have been coming up is one. There has been restriction of fishing activities, especially around oil and gas activities, where because of safety and security reasons, fishermen are not able to go closer to these oil installations. And these are traditional fishing grounds for fishermen. And as we have observed, there has been a lot of exploration activities around offshore. So if all of these areas, fishermen are restricted from fishing close to these installations, then gradually we are taking the fishermen out of their business. There has also been incidents of the death of marine mammals since
Absolutely.
2009.
So Solomon, what have been the response from some of the petitions you have sent around already?
Please come again, say.
I was asking, what response have you received from these stakeholders?
Yes, the responses are that one, they are going to take these issues on board from the district to the regional as well as to the national level. One of the key issues that we have been advocating is the conduct of a fisheries impact assessment, which is the Fisheries Act 2002 requires the conduct of a fisheries impact assessment to be able to clearly articulate the impact of fisheries by the oil and gas industry. And the new Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, the last time we met him, said, he was going to push this forward so that all oil and gas companies will be required to conduct a fisheries impact assessment.
Absolutely.
Another issue is about the environmental impact assessment. Companies are required to do environmental impact assessment, but the socialization of this impact assessment is quite limited. The communities do not have adequate understanding of these impact assessments. So what we are trying to do is that during the public hearings, there should be adequate presentation on the project description as well as the impact identification. And most important is the mitigation measures, so that community will be able to critique the mitigation measures. Because what we have observed, most of the time, these public hearings are used as needs assessment, and instead of communities criticizing the environmental impact assessment, they use it to trade for their needs and acting for social amenities.
Right. Solomon, thank you very much for your time here at the Midday Brief. Now, Solomon Kusiampofo is the oil and gas coordinator for Friends of the Nation. And let's go back to the Supreme Court. Eric Curtis Howard is on standby. We will get back when we get a very good feed. But let's go to Kofa region, specifically Samankese, where drivers have been demonstrating due to the deplorable nature of their roads. Now, as of yesterday morning, reports say the roads were blocked and cars were not allowed to move, whereas passengers stranded since about a fortnight ago. Now, drivers in Ashaiman in the Greater Accra region staged violent protests on the state of their bad roads, and within 24 hours, the contractor had sent in graders to level the roads. And there were fears then that it will set a dangerous precedence for considering that many roads in the country are in a deplorable state. And so we're joined by our Eastern Regional correspondent Haruna Yusuf to give us an update on the situation. Hello, Haruna. Right, Haruna, what have the drivers been saying?
The whole thing started yesterday. Officials of GPRTU and some commercial drivers in the Asamankesi district of the Eastern region yesterday took to the street to register their protest against the bar road network system, which linked the Asamankesi to Suhum. They were all saying that actually, because of the bad road nature of the roads in that particular district, makes drivers, commercial drivers, very difficult to do their work.
Right. Haruna, just sorry to cut you, but we understand that the roads were blocked yesterday morning. What is the situation now?
Yeah, now the situation is no more like that. Actually, yesterday morning, the roads were blocked simply because they didn't want any car to apply that road because of the bad road nature of it. And
so the roads are open?
They are open now.
But what are authorities saying about this?
The authorities are simply calling on the government to intervene. Government must come and then make sure that the roads are properly constructed because it affects most of their vehicles, commercial drivers. GPRTU are saying that it affects most of their vehicles.
Haruna, I'm sure those are authorities from the protesting side. Now, I'm asking about authorities in terms of the assembly, the assembly in the area, the DCE, the MC. The member of parliament in the area, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. What happened was that even when the authorities of GPRTU, they said on several occasions they called on the DCE of that Asamankesi to come and look at the road system there because they have written a letter several times to him telling him that in fact their road network system there is very bad, so he has to do something about it. But
Haruna, we would have to leave it here. I would talk to you again in subsequent bulletins. But you are home. Let me just say that we're going back to the Supreme Court where Eric Curtis Howard is talking with Kojoga Adawudu. Let's take a look at that.
So that is do what you are supposed to do or don't do what you are supposed to do. Then we say in legal language that you purge yourself. Then when the court is satisfied you have purged yourself, they will allow you. But if it is not satisfied, it may give you some sentence, custodial sentence, to become deterrent for others not to repeat such a behavior.
Can you call for a legal counsel to defend you whilst your contempt case is ongoing, or it will be after the judge's ruling before you could?
Every time when the contempt case is there, you are open to have a lawyer to speak on your behalf. Yes, because it's just normal as the court process. But that one, it's summarily, and it can be determined summarily. There's one that when you commit in presence of the judge in court, if it's contempt, inquiry, right? Inquiry in court, the judge can there and there also. But if it's outside or the presence of the court, maybe the judge may take you to a process where you have a lawyer and they will speak for you.
Have you seen our 3 special invited guests in court today?
Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them from their looks. You see that, yes, they don't mean harm. Maybe they made the comment out of ignorance, knowing that what they are saying may be contemptuous to the court. But you could see in their faces that they don't really mean to hurt the court or hurt anybody, and they are remorseful. So I think we'll wait for, when we come back from lunch, what the court would say. But I think that as the counsels, the lead counsels have issued that statement, it should give us some signals of what the court might also want to do.
Have you spoken to them, and what have been written? If you have you had any interaction with them, since some of them happens to be members of your party?
Oh yes, I've spoken to them. I think that upon hindsight, they realize that they've went beyond their bounds and they are remorseful. And jokingly, I was telling them that, look, people are going in Sawam, and this is it. But we pray that we do not get there. I think that it's not punishment. The should come behind what the week every platform. And the court means what it is. So let's pray and hope that the court will come and they will have something good to tell us.
Okay, so going for it, Victor, before I let you go, what should we do? How do we manage our speech to make sure that we are not held in contempt of court?
You see, there is I believe that just say what the court said, add your opinion or slant to what they are saying. Just tell them what it is. You may be happy, you may not be happy about what they have said. Then you can say that in your estimation, you think this should be it. But the courts, they have the law in their bosom and they have spoken. So when they speak, it is. But I'm sure the court itself also will exercise its power within the confines of the law. The court will not go out of the rules, out of the law, to just go and say something. I don't think that by our training, the courts would say that now that we've gotten all the power, everybody is scared of us. I think the court itself also wants to uphold democracy. And, free speech is one of the tenets of democracy. And the court will not do anything to stab its own at its own back. The court will not do anything like that.
Thank you very much, Victor. We've been speaking to Victor Adawudu, who is a member of the NDC spokes team, communications team, legal communications team here at the Supreme Court in the ongoing election petition hearing. As you are aware now, the court is on recess, so we are waiting for the judges to get back after recess, and we'll get to know what happens to the 3 persons. The 3 persons actually being held in contempt of court. My name is Eric Curtis Howard, and I'm reporting live from the Supreme Court here in Accra. Thank you.
Right, and so let's move on with the news. So the special committee set up by the People's National Convention to investigate the unaccounted for 1.3 million Ghana cedis campaign funds has on Tuesday begun its work. The three-member committee, led by former PNC Member of Parliament for Sisala West, Haruna Bayarga, is expected to submit its report in 3 weeks. Now, sources at the PNC headquarters say huge funds meant for the PNC 2012 campaign activities were diverted for personal use. The committee chairman, Haruna Bayarga, said all those who handled physical cash during the elections will be summoned. Bayarga says the committee's approach will be different from that of the Convention People's Party, who named and changed their 2012 presidential candidate, Dr. Abu Sakara, and some national executives of the party cited in similar situations. And so Bayarga is joining us on the phone to give us further detail on this particular matter. Hello.
Hello.
Right, Haruna, and so how different will this committee be from that of the CPP?
Yeah, actually, we are assuming that this sort of thing is an in-house. It's an in-house fact-finding. It's not an investigative committee to correct certain things that were alleged to have taken place. You know, and that's the way it is. And we want to assure our numerous people that it is not something that will be out for the public consumption unless the party decides, you know, but not me and not my committee.
And so who are those likely to appear before the committee?
Well, I'll reserve that to myself. At the appropriate time, we'll let you know.
When will this appropriate time be?
Well, I can't tell. We are holding a meeting. Then we'll know when the appropriate time will be.
Right. And so there should be a report in 3 weeks. Will it then be made public for, you know, us to know what went down with the committee and its investigation?
You know, we'll at the appropriate time, I said. But you know, even in your own house, if you are married, a lady who is married, you and your husband may have some misunderstanding. You want to resolve it in-house. You don't want to take it out. You know, so we want to resolve these issues in-house. It's an allegation, I told you. We want to find the facts out of it, and then we can resolve it in-house. It is only when the party decide, no, we don't want in-house, we want the public to know, then we let it go into the public domain.
Right. Thank you very much. Haruna Bayarga is chairman of the special committee within the PNC to investigate some diverted campaign funds. You're watching our major news briefing on Joy News. My name is Kemini Nyamani, and when I return, there's more news. You're welcome back, and moving on with the news. Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister Murtala Mohammed has defended President Mohammed's directive ordering the Attorney General to set up a committee to look into the Auditor General's report and prosecute those found culpable. He was speaking at the daily briefing at the Flagstaff House today.
It wasn't out of place that His Excellency the President gave that, and more so the platform he used. This was an occasion where we were virtually honoring, if you like, our senior citizens. And these are people who have worked several years, contributed their quota towards the socio-economic upliftment of the people of this country. And he used that platform. It is important that the public pronouncement that was made by His Excellency the President has attracted the kind of discussions that we have today. I believe that every single radio station and TV stations and some of the print media, it has become an issue that we all discuss. It's a critical issue. It has to do with the taxpayers' money that some individuals, for one reason or the other, would dip their hands into. I believe if the President never made that public pronouncement, it wouldn't have been an issue we discussed today. We have had several, if you like, Auditor General's reports being submitted every year. And what we do in this country is that any time at all the reports are made public, we lament, we discuss, and that ends it. It is about time we started taking firm actions to ensure that those who are cited in that report are prosecuted if they need to be prosecuted.
In other news, the export of fruits from Ghana has been banned from major international markets due to the negative impact of fruit flies and other plant pests and diseases. The ban, which affects 27 other African countries, is reported to have hit hardest the mango industry in the country, which held a lot of promise as a leading non-traditional export. Now, the United States, the European Union, and other international markets are requesting Ghana and the other African countries to deal with the plants, pests and diseases to enhance quality assurance of fruits and other export crops from those destinations. Now, many mango farmers who have invested heavily in the cultivation of the crop in anticipation of good export prospects are now counting their losses instead of reaping from their investments. This was one of the critical issues flagged yesterday at the opening of a 3-day workshop on strategies for prevention and containing emerging diseases and pests in West Africa here in Accra. Now, the workshop is under the auspices of the Food and Agriculture Organization Regional Office for Africa. Now, it's believed that biotic threats account for an estimated 30% of post-harvest losses across the world. Now, sadly, some mourners at a funeral in Pando were hospitalized after they consumed tilapia and banku, and the tilapia is believed to have been preserved with formalin. Right, and so we'll talk briefly with our correspondent, Jerry Komla Ado. He's joining us from the Volta region. Hello, Komla.
Hi, Kamini.
Right. Give us an update on the situation in the Volta region now.
Yes, Kamini, the latest here is that 4 people are still on admission at the Margaret Marquardt Hospital in Pando. These 4 people, according to the medical officer there, Dr. Jensi, is that these people are still on admission due to complications they suffered after the alleged tilapia poison. For instance, some of them are hypertensive and others are just suffering from post-traumatic disorders. In all, 55 people were treated since the incident on Saturday night. And out of that 55, 35 were admitted, and currently 31 have been treated and discharged, and the rest of the 4 people left would be discharged by close of day. That's according to the medical officer there, Dr. Jensi.
Right, Jerry, what has the police been saying about the situation?
Yes, according to them, there has not been any formal complaint, but they are aware of the situation, and then they are launching investigations into that.
Right, thank you very much, Jerry. Jerry Komla Ado is our Volta regional correspondent. Let's do some other stories now. Statistics from the UNICEF indicate more than half of the babies born in northern Ghana die within the first month of life. Now, that's a harrowing statistic, which in other words means thousands of babies do not live for more than 28 days in that part of the country. Felix Akoyam reports the UN agency and the Japanese government are working together to offer some support to tackle the situation.
Previously, we used to put certain things into the umbilical cord of babies, give them water, and this was giving us problems. Sometimes they would turn their eyes, their face yellow.
Hawa Adam, who is 40 years old, and she recalls the hard time she went through to deliver 9 out of her 10 children at home. Although she did not lose any of them, her children were always ill.
We used to have problems with diarrhea, children falling sick, getting sepsis, a whole lot of problems.
More than half of infant deaths occur in the first month in northern Ghana. According to the Ghana Demographic Health Survey, 57,000 children under age 5 die every year. Most of these deaths are not reported in northern Ghana. The major causes of these deaths are infections. UNICEF, with support from the Japan government, has started a newborn care project in northern Ghana to help reduce the deaths. We met community health nurse Paul Bani, who benefited from the training by UNICEF. Paul attends to about 5,000 people in 5 communities in the Boko West district of the Upper East region. He provides antenatal and postnatal care for mothers and babies in the 5 communities.
I will say I have gotten to 85%. Because of this frequent visit every week and me meeting them and getting to know them more, I actually get to know them more and they also know me more. So we are now free. So I start the immunization very early. So defaulters,
Some mothers admitted they had seen a significant improvement in the health of their babies.
I'm very grateful for Paul's presence here because the time we used to give birth, we will become pregnant, we suffer through the pregnancy. Sometimes we give birth and they die.
Right, and so we understand the Deputy Minister has reacted to the issue of the ban on fruits to the Trade and Industry Ministry. Now, Murtala Mohammed said the issue has not come to government's attention.
Well, it hasn't been brought to my attention as a person, but I believe that if the research report, certainly the Ministry of Trade and Industry, attention would have been drawn to it. I would suggest that if you could get that information from them, or accept that maybe we can make the necessary inquiries and tomorrow we'll be able to provide you with the information. But as I stand here, it hasn't been brought to my attention.
Anyway, let's move on with the news. And the Dean of the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Kwame Ameya-Domfe, has challenged alumni of the various educational institutions to invest in their schools. Speaking at the alumni homecoming, he said such contributions could enable government to channel the funds due these institutions into addressing more pressing challenges.
The University of Ghana Business School hosted for the first time all past students of the school since its establishment 50 years ago. Though alumni of the individual year groups had been meeting, this homecoming was to share experiences and highlight some challenges of the faculty and ways to resolve them. For some alumni, such occasions are moments to cherish as they offer the opportunity for past students to support their alma mater.
We have not met for a long time. You come and you remember the jokes, the life you led on the campus. So it's very exciting. Let me say the challenges are greater now than at a time when things were relatively good for everybody. At least in any society like this, there are 3 ways you can contribute. You can use your strength, you can use your brains, and you can use your finance. So we are going to see how we can bring all these resources together and then move the association forward.
I think homecoming, we are those of us who, by the grace of God, we've got opportunity to go through some of these schools. We should see it as an opportunity for us to also give back what we got from the schools. So those of us who have gone through that and by God's grace are in some position or better position to assist, at least little drops of water will make a mighty ocean, as the saying goes. So we all, the authorities must try and rally us together. And like I was trying to put across, they must also make it easier for people wherever they are to contribute. So they should create an account where at the end of the month, for instance, if you want to drop about 10 Ghana cedis or 100 Ghana cedis, it can be easier. So by that, they will be able to enhance their facilities and give the opportunity to the young ones who are coming.
For the University of Ghana Business School, space remains a big challenge as admissions have increased from 500 since 1965 to over 3,000 currently. The Dean of the school, Professor Kwame Ameya-Domfe, indicated that though there is an endowment fund set up by the alumni to help address some of their challenges, very few of them donate into the fund.
When we started with our building, Yale School of Management, they also started. And now they have completed. They didn't rely on a loan, they didn't take a loan, they are not using internally generated funds, but rather the alumni, which has put up a building which costs millions of cedis. We can do a lot, and I think we're looking at the economy. If even the economy is strong enough, we will still have to give back to society because we benefited from here. And by giving back to society, alumni can look at their alma mater and then donate. We have alumni in thousands. So if at the end of every month, each one of them even donates just 1 Ghana cedi, the quantum of that for a period of years will be sufficient enough.
The homecoming dedicated to the University of Ghana's 65th anniversary also marked the induction of a new executive body to steer the affairs of the various year groups.
Right, so we brought you an earlier story where 28 countries, including Ghana, have been banned from exporting fruits to U.S. and European Union markets as a result of pest and disease infestations. Now, joining us on the phone to digest this matter is Mauli Agboka. He is Export Marketing and Quality Awareness Project Manager at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Hello, Mauli.
Hello.
Now, this is a very serious problem, but what does the ministry make of this?
First of all, I would like to say that indeed we have a very serious fruit fly problem since 2005. But I'm not aware that we have been banned from the export market because from my checks, even as of today, we are making exports. So we have not been banned.
In the event where this report is true, what will the ministry do for farmers in the country?
Well, like I said, we are aware of the problem of the fruit fly. And since 2005, we have been taking steps to ensure that farmers could produce without, losing to the fruit flies. So there are a number of steps we have taken. For example, if you go to all the mango producing areas, which are the ones that suffer most from the fruit flies, we have set in motion a training program where we advise farmers on exactly what to do.
Right.
And so they have been trapping the fruit flies on the plantations. So you will realize that for most plantations that export, the incidence of fruit fly is very low. We have also, from all the new packing houses that the ministry has facilitated in building, we have also incorporated fruit fly treatment plants.
Right.
To at least do hot water treatment to kill the larvae if there should be anyone in them. We have also...
Mauli, sorry to cut in, but I understand that indeed we are doing something about fruit flies here in the country, especially on mango farms, on mango plantations, so to speak. But the thing is, we are talking specifically of European Union and United States markets, and they're saying that indeed they have banned the importation of fruits into their markets from Ghana and 27 other African countries. So in the event where this is the case, as you have told us that it hasn't come to the attention of the ministry that this is the case. In the event where this is true, what will happen to our local farmers?
Well, if it were true, I mean, that would be devastating because that's a promising industry where a lot of people are investing. But as I can assure you, it is not true because even this morning, people are exporting. And we have programs with even Lebanon where a lot of the mangoes go through, where we have bilateral agreements. And then we set up monitoring systems over there and monitor every fruit consignment that leaves Ghana.
Right.
Yeah. Secondly, the major problem with these fruit flies has to do not on the plantations, but with the wild mangoes, the local mangoes that are grown all over, that are in the bush and the forest and so on. That is where the problem is. And we have been, having discussion as to how we can ensure that we put a systems in place to control the fruit flies on those wild mangoes. And we have started by educating the farmers about sanitation issues. But the greater picture is that we need to ensure that we put in a systems approach such as either male sterile breeding that can be released, heavy government program that can also use chemicals to spray these mango trees. But you can agree with me that is going to entail a lot of investment. But then, if we can lay hands on biological agents, just like we did in the case of the mealyback, that will be one of the greatest achievements that we can talk, because that will be much more effective and that will be much safer. And therefore, we have been exploring with other countries that have experienced this problem to see.
Right. Thank you very much, Mauli, for your time this afternoon. We are very grateful. Mauli Agboka is with the Food and Agric Ministry. We've been talking on the fruit ban on Ghana and 27 other African countries. Let's do some international news now. Now, fugitive United States intelligence leaker Edward Snowden has sent asylum requests to 21 countries. They include China, France, Ireland, and Venezuela. Russia and Member of Parliament for Asin North constituency, Kennedy Ajapong, has been acquitted and discharged of treason charges against him by an Accra Circuit Court. The court dropped all charges against the lawmaker after lawyer for Ajapong, Ayikwe Otu, filed an application of no submission. The parliamentarian was charged with attempted treason, genocide and terrorism after he was alleged to have made tribal comments on his radio station here in Accra in April 2012. Ajapong is alleged to have declared war on radio after a member of the NPP, Ezla Usu, was reportedly attacked during the biometric registration at Ojodo Dio. Executive members of Mahama Ladies have launched their presidential campaign for the 2016 general elections, though President John Mahama is still in court over the legitimacy of the last election results that declared him president. The Mahama Ladies insist early preparation will guarantee them victory in 2016. It appears consumers may have been spared the bi-weekly review of the prices of petroleum products expected to have come into effect today. Though the National Petroleum Authority has told Joy News the review would take place, it would not say whether the expected increase would affect it. But Joy News checks at fuel stations in the capital, Accra, indicate the prices remain unchanged. Commercial drivers, however, remain confused about its effect on transport fares. Minister of Transport Jifa Ativo has expressed optimism Ghana's second Eurobond issue could be the key to addressing some of the challenges currently facing the sector. She tells Joy News the railway and maritime subsectors have projects that will rely on funding from the $1 billion bond approved by Parliament last week.
Get the Digibox now. Visit us on www.multitvworld.com or call 0302 211 68025 for a multi-TV accredited dealer.